welcome to another adventure. Today we're heading out to Straits. I'm with the old boy and we're chasing some flatties. Last time we did a video down here, we got a few. Today we're hoping to bag a few more. The weather looks like it's threatening to not cooperate with us, but we're not going to let that phase us, and we've got to get out there because this spot is a bit of a haul from the ramp. The tide is still pretty high and it needs to be, or you can't access some of these spots way up the Straits. Back in my hometown, Gladdy, the Narrows is a little bit like that. You can't get through these places when the water's down. But we're waiting for that water to go down, because that's when the flatties are forced into little pockets where the water's deep and the bait are hanging. We're hoping to be there. But until then, we've got some time to kill, so we're going to mess around, throw the anchor in, throw a few lures, maybe chase a crab or two. Let's see. Let's have a crack, eh? That's some big run down here today. The anchor, it couldn't hold us where we were. So we decided to pull up, flick some lures around this timber, but... Oh, is that a Mudie in the shallows? That's pretty deep. Went behind the tree, I think. I reckon it's coming out of the hole. Unfortunately, I lost the Mudie in the dust cloud that ensued after me trying to grab him and him trying to grab me. So on the plus side, I've still got all my fingers. It's time to get back in the boat. Maybe we'll see some crabs later on. I don't want to stand on this guy. He's got big claws, big tasty claws. Alright, we're off to check out another spot that's rumoured to hold potentially a metre flatty. I mean, it's no 3 metre-y, but I'd be happy with a metre-y. Apparently lives in this creek up here, and the trouble is you can only get up here on foot, so let's have a crack at that. All this mud is super soft up in this little creek. It's a pretty deep channel and I reckon there might be some decent critters in there, but the only thing I've managed to catch is another little Mudie. I use the term catch loosely. But before I could even get to the actual creek I was aiming to get to, I've managed to catch the world's biggest wind knot. I don't know how this has happened. It's absolute chaos. Looks like the old boy's having dramas too. His boat's come adrift and I better get back, see if he needs a hand. This thing's going to run aground in no time. Oh no, he's run aground. Who could have guessed that'd happen? While he's trying to figure out how to get that boat out of the mangroves, I better not forget me pluggers. And he's sort of getting there. That would be a whole lot easier to get off with 2 people, but it's a pretty deep channel between me and him, so I don't really feel like swimming. Either he'll get it off or the tide will go down and I'll walk over there and see went wrong. But I'm pretty confident he'll get it. Yeah, never any doubt on my mind that he'd get it out backwards and come and pick me up. Well, the tide's got down a lot further, so let's go and see how those flatties are going. The sand flats were just starting to come out and some of the creatures were starting to show themselves. A few big rays. Decided to have a tussle with one of these guys again. This guy, similar size, very aggressive. Unfortunately, I can't show you the results. All I can say is I didn't manage to capture it, but we'll keep looking. We're going to get one of these days. As much as I'd love my buddy, it's not what we come here for. We come here for me. This one. Super energetic and small, so he's got nothing to worry about. We'll let him go. We just got to get him in. So when we fish for these guys, we use super light leader, like 15 pound and 10 pound mainline, something like that, so we can't just pick these things up because there's a pretty good chance they'll break the line. So we've got to bring them up into the shallows and deal with them that way. Whoa, settle down, bros. Oh, wow. Yep, he's released. Come on, get out there. What a beautiful way to start this fishing session. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. As the tide goes out, the flatties get pushed to where the water is. They can't be anywhere else, so they tend to sit in any sort of depressions along the bottom, where they're going to sit and stay hidden and smash any bait that comes over the top of them. So our job is to get out, find these holes without spooking the flatties, and try and drop a lure on their nose, which I've managed to do. But just like the last smaller model flathead, we've got to get them into the bank so we can take a look at them. We do keep some flathead to eat if we get some in the size bracket. They've got to be between 40 and 75, somewhere in that region. So we're looking for some around the 60 mark because they're going to be the best eaters. But we've got to get this thing into the beach because this thing's got some weight and some power behind it still. And if we try and pick it up out here, it's going to snap the leader. So it's just about slowly walking him in, seeing if we can get him in one of these little drains, get a proper look at him. Oh, he's still got plenty to go. And just like that, we walk him up onto the beach. Now to try and get him unhooked. I caught this flathead and the one before on this jackal squirrel. It's a deep diver. It punches the bottom and stirs up a lot of dust. It gets these flatties going. That is a beautiful fish. As good as these jackals are, I don't think it's got as much to do with the fisherman or the tackle as it's got to do with the spot. Back in Gladstone, where I'm normally fishing, we don't have these big sand flats like this. We've got a lot more mud. But that doesn't mean you can't get out and chase the flatties on the low tides, because let's face it, they've got to be in the water. It's not real good for them if they're not. Even though I reckon this is the spot, the fish certainly aren't jumping on the hooks. We're having to put in the Ks and put in the hours for them, and plenty of casts. While I was off in the distance, I managed to get a nice eater, and didn't have lip grips on me, but we managed to get him back. The leather needs a good wash though. As much as I love catching these things for a bit of sport and seeing them swim away, they are fantastic eating. Definitely one of the best fish out of the estuary. Another textbook flathead landing. Look at this guy straight up onto the sand, and check out this lure. It is absolutely getting hammered by these guys, paying off it everywhere, and we're missing a barb, actually 2 barbs now after catching that one. I'm gonna have to get another one of these guys. These lures are killing it today. Bit smaller, but I'm still happy to be catching flatties. They are the best got releases. Effortless. Where this sand flat is draining out, it's coming down and around a tight bend. That's what I'm flicking lures at now, and it seems to be the sort of spot fish are congregating. The depth this jackal wants to dive at is unreal, but because it's only in a foot of water, I can bring it back on a slow retrieve, and it pumps the bottom still, and eventually it stirs the fish up enough that think the old fella was missing out either. He's landing a number of flatties as well, a few good ones too, but he just doesn't have a camera on him. While I'm sneaking over close to the old boy, I managed to hook the fish of the day, no doubt. This thing's peeling line, and some acrobatics, but ultimately it drops the lure. No! I'm still running the jackal with 2 broken hooks. Oh. That's probably why. Just the way it goes sometimes. After that, I decided to make the hike back to the boat. After losing that fish, I figure I've got to go and rip this jackal off and chuck something else on. I'm not even sure how many lures we've brought today, but we've got to get something with some barbs on it. By the time I rig up, the tide's changing and the flatties are gone off the bite, but what is this? Come on, dude, you know the same size as the lure. Traditionally on the flats here, as soon as the tide switches and starts running back in, the flatties go off the chew. I suppose they get out of their holes and they run up as far as they can. They know they're not going to get stuck. So we switch over to fishing for whiting. As you've seen, they're on the bite, but for some reason I've got a brim now. A little one at that. And then another brim. I don't know what's going on here, guys. But the water is finally starting to come back up around the boat, so it looks like we might be going to get out of here soon. This anchor was right on the edge of the water when we chucked it out earlier today. I'm a bit sunburned. We run it out of daylight and we still don't have enough water to get out of it, but we're going to give it a crack. So thanks for joining us. Check out these flatties. Oh. Maybe I'll see you out there somewhere.